Hello, Year 12. This is Mr. Keith with the third and final flipped classroom. For this unit, it is the Ottawa Charter in action. And looking at the content involved with this, we are addressing critical question for what actions are needed to address Australia's health priority areas. If we look at the syllabus in addressing this critical question, we are going to be looking at content based on the Ottawa Charter in action. In doing so and looking at all that content, we'll be able to critically analyse the importance of the 5 action areas of the Ottawa Charter, and we'll be able to relate them to 2 health promotion initiatives. In order to be able to effectively look at the Ottawa Charter in action, we must know what the 5 action areas of the Ottawa Charter are. We've discussed these previously in Year 11, obviously, and with Mr. White's flipped classroom video. But we're going to go through them just quickly again. So the action area of the Ottawa Charter is being developing personal skills, reorienting health services, strengthening community actions, building healthy public policy, and creating supportive environments. I find personally that the easiest way to remember the action areas of the Ottawa Charter is through the Doctors BC acronym. That's standing for developing personal skills, which is empowering the individual with knowledge and skills to make better decisions in regards to their health. R is reorienting health services. So it's shifting from a traditional or curative approach to a more preventative approach, and that is in health services, so such as doctors. S is strengthening community action, which is encouraging communities to take responsibility and be involved in their health, so making sure that relevant stakeholders of the community actually have a say in what's happening with their health. B is building healthy public policy, and that's about governments implementing laws, legislation, policy, and funding to address health issues, and creating supportive environments that ensures that a person's environment is conducive to creating and maintaining positive health behaviours. So once knowing the 5 action areas of the Ottawa Charter, we can start to look at the Ottawa Charter in action, which is the dot point we need to cover in this flipped classroom. So for a health promotion campaign or initiative to be effective, it must be multifaceted and reflect all 5 action areas of the Ottawa Charter. If it is too reliant on one area or it neglects certain areas, then the health promotion campaign may not be as effective as it possibly can be. I feel that it's best reflected in this little saying. So people should feel like there is nowhere to hide from the health messages and that they are actually compelled to act in ways that reflect positive health behaviours. So wherever they go, whatever they do, because of the situation and the environment that surrounds them, they should feel that they have to act in a certain way that will be positive for their health. The Ottawa Charter in action. So looking specifically at tobacco, and the question has to arise is why address the issue of tobacco? So smoking is the largest preventable cause of death in Australia. Each year it costs around about $31.5 billion, and that's social, health and economic costs. And it is a key risk factor for 2 of our most prominent causes of mortality and morbidity, that being CVD and also cancer. So if we look at the issue of tobacco specifically and the health implications that it has, we can apply the action areas of the Ottawa Charter to see how they are reflected in a health promotion campaign. So this is an excerpt of page 12 of your workbook. What you can do is fill out the necessary information in the little closed passage. So if we read through the scenario, Denny wakes up in the morning, gets ready for work and walks to catch the bus. She has a cigarette on the way because it is illegal to smoke on public transport. Because it is illegal, that comes under the banner of building healthy public policy. She notices a local council poster on the bus shelter about Quit Month. It outlines the services and the council offers to assist people to give up smoking. Because it's the council offering up services, that goes to strengthening community action. Danny catches the bus to work and quickly has a cigarette outside the building as smoking is not allowed inside. Now, this goes to creating supportive environments to ensure that people aren't passive smoking and to actually deter people from smoking altogether. She turns on her computer, checks her emails and finds a reminder message from the Quit line about registration and offering support and strategies to quit smoking. Now, this goes directly to education and therefore it is developing personal skills. After work, Danny has a doctor's appointment to check on a cough she has developed. The doctor reminds her of adverse effects of smoking and gives her a prescription for medication to help with giving up smoking. And this is the final action area of the Ottawa Charter, in action being reorienting health services. So if we go into more detail, we can critically analyse and look at ways in which the National Tobacco Strategy actually adheres to the Ottawa Charter action areas. The first being in developing personal skills. So there's self-help materials in the forms of brochures and online websites. We have education throughout children's schooling about the health implications of smoking. We also have the development of the Quitline service to help further educate individuals about smoking and also ways in which they can quit. If we look at reorienting health services, this is all about changing from curative or treatment approach to prevention. So we can get advice from doctors and other health providers about cessation treatment or quitting methods. We can also see, as an example, training multilingual pharmacists and other healthcare providers to target people from certain cultural backgrounds. And this actually links with our social justice principle that Mr. White talked about in the last video in regards to diversity. In regards to strengthening community action, we have a couple of examples. So local council quit initiatives and support groups. We also have the Centre for Excellence in Indigenous Tobacco Control, where relevant stakeholders from the Indigenous community actually have a say as to how they reduce the prevalence rates of smoking within the Indigenous community. In the bottom right-hand corner, you can also see the Break the Chain campaign, which specifically targets Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. And in doing so, by including people from within that community, there's more likely that it's going to be successful. Looking at building healthy public policy in regards to tobacco, I believe this is the easiest area to identify evidence. So we have regulation on the sales of tobacco, so you must be over the age of 18. They can't be visible and on sale. We have regulation of tobacco taxes, so there's a large tax obviously on selling tobacco, and the government makes a large amount of revenue from this to try and deter people from actually buying it. Introduction of mandatory plain packaging and health warnings, another example of healthy public policy. We've got laws regarding the environment where smoking can take place, e.g. in a car. So any law, policy or funding is an example of building healthy public. Creating supportive environments is another action area that's easily identifiable within the tobacco strategy. So we have restrictions on place of use, e.g. indoor areas, workplaces, and other public areas such as restaurants. The regulation and restriction of advertising and promotion of tobacco. This can be seen through formerly the National Rugby League, which was sponsored by Winfield. Again, that had to end due to restrictions on advertising. Same with Ferrari, used to be sponsored by Marlboro, and again can't be sponsored by them due to regulations of advertising. We've got the introduction of more smoke-free rooms in hotels and correctional facilities to reduce secondhand smoke, and extending resources to individuals in rural and remote settings. Again, links with social justice in terms of equity. So after going through all the various examples as to how the National Tobacco Strategy adheres to the Ottawa Charter, we need to obviously critically analyse and go through what the results of these actions are. So the National Tobacco Strategy and looking at its effectiveness, so the best way we can do that is looking through the smoking prevalence rates for 14-year-olds and over from 1990 to 2013. And if we have a look at the following graph, we can see here some significant decreases. So in 1991, the smoking rate was approximately 24.4%. If we look at all the arrows that are attached to the line graph there, we can see that all of these are measures of the National Tobacco Strategy, which have been implemented to try and decrease smoking. We can see there that throughout the range of these, predominantly they have worked. All of these, again, are relatable to the 5 action areas of the Ottawa Charter. So we can see that in 2013, our smoking rate for people over the age of 14 is actually only 12.8%. So the National Tobacco Strategy is an effective example of how the Ottawa Charter can be implemented. So if we look quickly at a HSC question from 2010, the question I believe is pretty simple. So you look at 2 action areas of the Ottawa Charter. That was part A, 1 and 2. And then part B was argue the benefits of applying the Ottawa Charter. Now, you'll answer this question at the end of this week and at the end of this little unit. So you need to make sure that you go back through the information, obviously, and look at the marking criteria. The marking criteria shows that for 22A, part 1 and 2, all you have to do is identify an action area and provide the characteristics and features, and you can get 2 marks each there, so you get a 4. To get a 7 or 8 or a band 6 sort of category answer for 22B, you need to demonstrate clearly the benefits of applying the Ottawa Charter to a health promotion initiative, e.g. tobacco, provide links between the health promotion initiative and the Ottawa Charter, and use relevant examples. The other tasks to complete this week are obviously 1, watch our flipped classroom video, which you are currently doing. 2, you need to complete the homework task, which is the Moodle quiz. 3, complete pages 12 to 20 in your workbook. 4, you'll be provided with an alarm table by your teacher, and you can use the information from this video, the Moodle activities, along with your workbook to complete that. And 5, you'll be obviously provided with some paper to answer the question that we've just gone through. Utilize the marking criteria. Again, this video, your workbook, there'll be sample responses put up, and then create your own answer. Thank you very much.